I'm about to make a claim most people don't want to hear. If you disagree with me by the end, I genuinely want to know why, so tell me in the comments. It's surprisingly easy to put your life on hold. I'll start when I have more money, when I feel confident. There's always another condition waiting in line behind the last one. Life quietly relocates itself into the future, and you stop living in favor of preparing to live. The trap is that preparation feels safe. If you're always getting ready, you never have to risk finding out whether you can actually do the thing. You get to stay inside the fantasy indefinitely. Heartbreak doesn't only come from losing another person, sometimes it comes from losing an illusion. There was a period of my life where I genuinely believed happiness was sitting on the other side of one specific outcome. If the relationship worked out, if the job changed, if the move helped, then I would finally feel okay and everything would click into place. Reality had other plans for me though. Nothing transforms just because one circumstance shifts. You still wake up as yourself, carrying the same habits and fears you had the day before. Nobody tells you the part. The fantasy gets sold to you constantly. The reality, almost never. Real growth for me didn't start with motivation or confidence. It started the moment I stopped waiting. Waiting disguises itself well though. It feels productive, responsible, even mature. But most of it's just fear wearing a nicer outfit. You tell yourself you're waiting for the right time, when really you're waiting to feel safe, and safety was never part of the deal. I once moved hundreds of kilometers from the place where I would build my entire life, half expecting the environment to resolve my old problems on its own. Some things did get better, plenty didn't though. What finally landed for me was that I still had to build a life from scratch, and no city, no relationship, no future version of myself was going to do it for me. I was gonna do it on my own. Nobody sits you down as a kid and warns you how much responsibility quietly piles onto your shoulders as an adult. There is no one coming to organize your life, manufacture your opportunities, introduce you to your future friends, or hand you the confidence. If you liked the video, a sub would be appreciated. Enjoy the video. Whatever you want out of life, you build it yourself. And building is slow, painfully slow. Movies sell transformation as instant, but real life looks more like planting something in the ground. You show up today and nothing happens. You show up tomorrow and still nothing happens. Then one day, without ceremony, you notice something's actually been built. Not because someone rescued you, because you kept showing up anyway. It's not the belief that you're incapable that does the most damage. It's the belief that your life is on hold, waiting for someone's permission. Your parents, societies, future partners, the universes. People spend years waiting for somebody to tell them they are allowed to try, allowed to fail, allowed to actually go after what they want. Nobody is handing out permission slips. You give that to yourself, and that's exactly what makes it terrifying. Because freedom and responsibility turn out to be the same thing wearing two different names. Strangely, accepting that no one was coming to save me is what made things get better. The moment you stopped expecting rescue, you start noticing what's actually within your control. Learning, improving, reaching out, creating, and trying again. None of it has to be dramatic. Small action still counts as action, and action beats hope every time it's tested. Hope matters, but hope without anything behind it is just wishful thinking wearing a nicer name. If you're watching this, you're already lived through things you once thought might end you. Sit with that for a second. There was almost certainly a moment where you had no idea how you would get through it, and somehow, clumsily or not, you did. Most people underrate themselves because they only ever look at their current problem and never at the evidence sitting behind them. An entire life's worth of challenges already survived, setbacks already absorbed. You're stronger than you think, not because any of it was easy, but because it wasn't, and you're still here anyway. Nobody is coming to save you. On the surface, that sounds like a depressing thing to hear. I think it's the opposite, because if nobody is coming, you're released from the waiting. No more permission needed, no more certainty required, no more holding out for the perfect window to open. You get to start exactly where you are, imperfectly, messily, awkwardly, but moving. If I've learned anything, it's this. Most people spent their whole lives waiting on a rescue that was never coming. The ones who built something real eventually just stopped waiting. They pick up what they had, take ownership of it, and move. One step at a time. Nobody is coming to save you. That's exactly why you still get a say in what happens next.